Greetings, salutations, and other big words. My name's Ethan. My handle is Wrangler. Welcome to Frequency Studios. See, today we are trying a little experiment. We are putting together a writer stream where we will. Hang on, I hear myself talking back to me, my own headphones. Yeah, I got something up somewhere that's still.
You're not as bad now.
Yeah, you sound better.
I had to expand out the entire thing to find the tabs where it's. I think I got it. Okay. I hope nobody else could hear that, but it kept playing back to us over and over again.
I heard it a little bit at first, but even then it was pretty low on my side.
Yeah. I went through my others. I had like multiple tabs across the top, and with the I had the Rumble pop out chat to the side, and so I couldn't see the tabs where the sound was coming from. I found another Rumble. I'm like, okay, that's probably it. And then nope, it was another YouTube tab where it was coming from.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out Minds. We are broadcasting on Minds, but I don't know where there's like a chat bar or anything. It looks like all I can do is find, we just got the video. So I guess the post linking to the chat would be where any comments happen, if any. But yeah, so just figuring out some new stuff. And anyway, the plan for today, all right, is going to be we'll have a little bit of conversation, talk about, to the extent that we're willing to anyway, no, we don't have to go spoilers or anything, talk about what we're working on and what we're writing about. And at some point, I'm going to play a 20-minute timer. So then we could just, during that 20 minutes, I'll find one of these StreamYard background tunes that we can agree on, and then we'll play that while we work on our manuscript. And then when the time's up, we'll go back to a little bit of conversation before another round of writing. And unfortunately, I could not figure out how to display a timer on the screen. So I'm just going to have to set the timer on my phone, and we'll work from that. But anyway, first up, we got Maji. Maji, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing good. Sort of. Still trying to get all the technicalities laid out.
So
having another destination on the stream setup gets a little inky.
Gotcha. If I understand this right, we're supposed to be writing during the stream?
Yes. I'll set up a timer. We'll pick some. The StreamYards has a whole bunch of background tunes that can be played, so we'll pick one of those, and that we can agree on, and set a timer and get writing. Now I know you won't be writing right now because you just finished up a massive undertaking. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What you're willing to, anyway.
Well, I just finished the first draft of basically a story that started as a gag.
Yeah. And ultimately, who you have to thank for that, it's not me, it's not Kiko, it's actually Billy Bobsack.
Really? I thought it was Kikomon and you.
Well, Kikomon started it. Then I said you were going to write it as a joke, but Billy Bobsack is the one who actually got you to do it. He got us all to do it. I wasn't going to write that, or not right now anyway. And he's the one who put together the group. I believe it was Billy Bobsack who put that group together, right?
Possibly.
I have no idea. But
I know he's the one who was pushing me to do it. Why don't we ask him, Billy? Were you the one who originally put the Schlar group together?
Yes.
Okay. See, so we get to thank you and blame you too.
Damn it, Mogwai.
Wrangler dragged me in by challenging me on a weekly comic.
Yeah, that I did, but the as far as I know, that group wasn't a thing yet. I think when Billy started it, he pestered me for it. I think you're the one who got everybody in there, right, Billy?
You can go back to the weekly winging it when I done it. Done it live on stream.
So how you
I
doing,
believe
Billy?
you.
What?
So what you got? Anything you're going to be working on today, Billy?
I don't know. I was reading Dragon Ball manga.
Yeah. How's that going?
I'm starting volume 10.
You liking it?
I mean, I like the show.
Yeah. But so far for what you're reading, you like that?
I mean, I just finished the Dragon Ball manga set. What was it, last week, Otter?
Something like that. I know by the end
16
you were
volumes.
telling me to, if you ever want to learn how to write perverted humor, read the Dragon Ball manga.
Oh, yeah. The old one.
And that
As a
brings us to
master.
Lord Otter.
Hey everyone, I am still kind of cooking from the hot Florida sun down here, and right now I am going to be working on probably one of the more boring bits of my.
Wait, hold up. You're a Florida otter?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it explains a little bit of the craziness in me. But today I'm going to be working on one of the probably one of the more boring bits of my book. I'm going to be working on the glossary, detailing little bits about my world that I have written down somewhere, or it's just already there in my head. So I'm really just fleshing that, and it's going to be at the very back of my book whenever I release it.
What would it be? Chapter 13, Will Bang K?
You
Something
put
like that?
that as a comment on 2 or 3 different chapters.
Yes, but this one was specific.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it wasn't on the smut chapter.
No, I failed. I would have failed.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. I will keep that confidential for the time being, but I know exactly what you're talking about now, Billy Bob Sack.
Yes. Yes. Alrighty.
Well, I am working on a redraft of Bad Kitty, Haley's World. I was going to call it Bad Kitty 2, Haley's World, but I dropped it 2. And maybe I'll put Bad Kitty Book 2 like right inside the cover or something. I don't know, but
Bad Kitty, Bad Scratch, Electric Boogaloo.
Speaking of Bad Kitty and Electric Boogaloo, there is something I want to bring up. I meant to bring it up on Weekly Wing It and just everything going on. I never prepped for the day. I didn't prep for Wing It. Wow, what a surprise. But I wanted to mention something about an astrophysicist from Australia named Wallace Thornhill. This guy, his talks about electric universe theory, I would listen to them, and they were absolutely fascinating. And it was a really cool thing. If any of you are familiar with electric universe theory, pretty much it's an alternative theory to how the cosmic physics, and where mainstream theory relies heavily on, almost exclusively on gravity. They also consider the concepts of electric fields and magnetism and all that. So when we look at the outer edge of the galaxy and wonder why aren't these all flying away, we don't have enough mass for the gravity to keep them in there. Then we come up with ideas like supermassive black holes and dark matter. Well, when you introduce electromagnetic fields and look at the galaxy as a giant Faraday motor, then you start to see it in a different light. I was so fascinated by this, had questions, and I actually ended up basing the physics system in my books on electric universe theory because of his talks. What's up, Billy Bob?
How do you know it ain't Yo Mama in the center of the galaxy holding everything together?
I don't. Could be. Like Futurama title says, you can't prove it won't happen. But is he right? Is he wrong? I don't know. But those concepts made more sense to me than things like bending reality, space time dilation. But I based the physics heavily on his talks. And I was hoping, hey, now that we're doing this podcast, one day I would be able to maybe possibly interview him, because that would help a great deal. But I came across an article the other day, and unfortunately, I found out he had passed away in February. But this guy was really kind of a big deal to how I figured out my physics systems. And
Look, Gino just proved you wrong.
How?
The Earth is flat and it's turtles
See?
all the way down.
Oh,
I
that
didn't
makes
know.
way more sense.
yes, he
Yeah.
is. He is definitely turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
Gino, you also forgot that the sun rotates around the Earth. So technically, we're the center of the galaxy.
It's a geocentric turtleverse.
Yes.
Run by otters.
Yes.
Don't worry, dinosaurs were a lie.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this gentleman's
Anyway.
talks have influenced a lot of the physics I'm using, especially now I'm pushing into spacefaring in my stories. So I just want to take a minute and say, William Thornhill, rest in peace. Though you're no longer with us, the contributions you've made, I think, will go a long way in our advancement for years to come. Thank you for everything you've done for plasma cosmology.
Just play the Jurassic Park music.
Oh,
Come on, Otter. Do it. Do it.
I-
Do it.
Why are you putting me on the spot like that?
You know how to do it.
Okay.
anyway, let's take a quick rundown through the chat before we get started. And see, so we got Nikolai Powell, Stormcrow. Hey, look, and I'm a Florida Crow. See a brother from another mother.
I didn't know your brother from another mother was an otter.
Well,
No, it's
that
like
is
the movie
the new
Jerk.
normal.
You ever watched the movie Jerk?
I haven't actually. That's a little bit of.
They tell him he's a storm crow, but he's actually an otter.
Oh,
White.
I get it now. It's one hell of a plot twist. Yeah, that's exactly true,
I don't think
Gino.
any of y'all have watched Jerk, so y'all might
All
be
praise the
confused
great
by that joke.
Atuan. Am I reading that right? Atuan.
Atuan, something like that.
Lizard Man.
I'll go with Alduin.
Boot bombs.
Maybe you meant to say otter. All hail the great
Maybe
otter.
he's east.
Oh, I am a great otter.
Oh, Gino looks like he recognizes Thornhill. He was fascinated. Oh, he didn't know either. Yeah, I just came across the article last week and I was shocked. I was like, I heard nothing about it. I watched clips from the Thunderbolts project all the time, and I didn't know.
You know who
I missed
also
that one.
passed?
What's that?
You know who also passed?
Who?
Pee Wee Herman.
Oh yeah, that I saw. That was what, 2 days ago? I think 3 days, maybe. I was like, Paul Rubin gone? No.
Somehow I
that dude's
wasn't
supposed to be
aware of
immortal.
that. Oh, come on. Okay.
Nikolai Powell says, "The world turtle. Don't you know your Discworld?"
There's Discworld, then there's It. Isn't that right, Billy Bob Sack?
Yes.
I know Discworld more than I know It.
I'll be
Stormcrow
right
says, all right. Stormcrow says, I'm going for a more soft science approach to my technology, but would love to know the topics necessary on designing a realistic spaceship the size of a planet. And what, we lost Paul too? Yeah. I think the biggest blow when there was a celebrity death was Betty White. We just expected her to live forever. Okay, so Billy Bob is away from the keyboard at the moment. You two are still with me, right?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
All right. Well, we should pick a tune to play in the background while we do the action-packed part of the show and type. So let's see what we got down here. Well, hold on. Is the loop on? All right. It's about half volume. All right. Start off with, this is called Acoustic Cinematic. And this next one's called Daydreaming. If one hums with you, like, yeah, I could write to that, say so.
So far, I'm liking the first one a little more.
All right. I don't know what these are going to be. I've gone through them before, but it was a while ago. I'm curious. This one is called Feeding the Ducks.
Oh no, not that one. If you're familiar with F&T lore.
This one's pretty nice. Pretty relaxed. Pretty lo-fi.
Oh, well, two down. There's one that's actually called Lo-Fi. Would you like to hear that one?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I could write to that.
I don't think I could either.
It's as soft and chill as it is. It's also oddly disruptive.
Yeah, that's what I'm noticing as well. It needs to be something that's not terribly distracting.
If I was going for a hike, maybe, but yeah, that's not it. This one's called Into Space. You guys still thinking first was best, or what was the other one? The Feeding the Ducks. Looks like it's between Acoustic Cinematic and Feeding the Ducks.
Don't do Feeding the Ducks. If you're familiar with Friday Night Tights, don't do Feeding the Ducks.
I'm familiar with Friday Night Tights, but I'm unfamiliar with the Feeding the Ducks lore.
They usually play the Feeding the Ducks song when they're talking about something inappropriate that they'll know they get banned, so they use that as a filler.
Oh.
What's Night Driving? It's not bad.
Yeah, this one isn't bad.
There's two others. Let's check them out and make the final choice. This one's called Dance Pop. I'm already going to call that a no.
Yeah, it's strangely disruptive.
This one's called Rock. Simply Rock. Yeah. Hey, what was that Night Driving one? I think was better.
I like the night driving one quite a bit, actually.
All right, what do you think, Maji?
My brain is fried from writing, and I looked at the Ironage prompts. None of them are standing out to me right now.
Yeah, over in the comments, we got Gino. No, man, for me, it was two. Jason David Frank. Yeah, that was a rough one. And Bradley James Allen. I was rocked by those two. James Craig asked, since when do you stream on Wednesdays? It was the first time. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Oh, not totally spur of the moment. We planned it 2 days in advance. It's a new experiment. And Gino says, as of today, James Craig new thingy. Oh, okay. Yep, got it. As of today. Understood. All right, so we're going to stick with this.
I found out about it 20 minutes before.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Otter and Billy and I talked about it briefly Monday night after the show, and yeah, you were the next to learn about it, Maji, right before it happened.
It was more of something we just kind of planned on a whim.
Yeah, half planned, half whimmed. All right, so shall we get ready?
I'm ready myself.
Okay, and where did I put my phone so I can set the timer? I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. That is not it.
Quick.
Yes, please help save us from the dead air while I figure out how to turn on a timer. All right, 20 minutes. So it's 4:26 now on my clock. So about 4:46, we'll end this first session. You guys ready?
I almost
Let's
think
do
20
it.
minutes is a little long.
Think so? Would you guys prefer a 15 or a 10?
I don't know.
I'm for either 20 or 15 minutes. 10 is a little short for me.
All right. Because, I mean, Maji, you also got a point. This is a stream. Are people going to just want to look at our, just turn us on while we're typing and not saying anything? So, yeah, maybe 15 minutes would be better. All right, resetting.
I'm gonna talk your fucking head off while you're writing.
Oh, this should be fun. All right, and go.
Yeah, my ADD's kicking in. Woo!
Should we change it to 3 minutes?
Maybe. Attention span. Goldfish. Activate. All right, so while they're writing, I have a question for the chat. Ignore me, guys. But how do you guys like to structure paragraphs? I mean, chapters. Do you guys go by like a 3,000 word count, or just break it up when it's convenient? Yeah, I know it. Different authors do different things, and now I got to structure the chapters. I'm just not entirely sure how.
You don't have to have them exactly the same amount of words per chapter.
Hey, RC. Let's see. Gino says, the only thing I could think of, and I have a feeling that this may be a bit too. I can't. It's,
What?
oh, I'm having a hard time seeing the screen.
I can't see the screen at all.
He's figuring out part of the story each chapter needs to convey, and then breaking it up accordingly. You know, Regular, I was thinking if you make this thing a real thing,
Yeah.
we should probably have Evely Music or Chill Kid buy a song from them or two. That way we could display their
Yeah.
music instead.
That would be awesome. Because we'll probably do this again and again, and yeah, if this becomes a regular thing, I'd rather license one of their tunes or a couple of their tunes to play while we do this, rather than just play StreamYard stuff.
Or even buy a song from Hobo. So Ironage Media's got a couple of interesting prompts for those not writing. I hope I'm not distracting.
You're good.
One's got this really pretty little pixie fairy, though her corset doesn't shape her body well. And then the other one is kind of this demon-looking tempest thing. You might be right on that, though. No, I'm not sure. I've never written anything big enough that required chapters. Cool.
That's time.
Oh no, it's the gaming.
Oh no.
And
Otter's butthole.
Oh damn it. Not again.
Fuck you, Christian. Fuck you. Fuck your part. Fuck it.
Fuck.
So fucking close.
I was about to ask how it went for you guys, but that didn't sound good.
It started out a little slow for me, but after a couple of minutes I started finding a groove.
I
Yeah.
got 3 paragraphs. That's it. 3 kind of paragraphs.
Believe it or
That's
not,
why I'm
you
working
got
on
more than
glossary.
me.
Oh, God. I just hate
'Cause-
this fucking part.
I was going through and realized, hey, this whole room here that we're in, I never described it. That's kind of necessary for what's about to happen. So I've been going through and trying to properly define the room.
Lucky for me, this is a first draft, so I don't have to worry about that too much.
I've learned that a really good writing technique. This is something that Robert E. Howard is very well known for doing, is writing aloud. So whatever you write on the page, you're speaking it as you're writing it. It really
Okay,
helps you go
Otter,
faster.
why don't you speak while you're writing? Here, go ahead.
That's why I'm muting.
So did anybody in the chat join us in that first writing session? Let's see. Let's go through and see what happened. Okay. Gino says, I'm going to try to learn to code with this music playing. I would say it's got my vote.
It's not a
That's
bad
cool.
choice.
Yeah, code is writing. It's just in a different language. He says, we'll have to think about that for a minute. Although I would personally throw the word count idea out the window. Okay,
he's
this is the
asking when I
this is the
asked
chapter
about that.
discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Maji, don't worry about it too much on that. Don't really.
Yeah, mine end up on average, at least in the format on my computer. That probably changes a little bit once it gets reformatted for the page, but on my computer in Word, it averages about 10 to 12 pages a chapter I'm doing. I mean, once in a while I have an unusually short one. Like I think the first chapter in the first book was only 6 pages, but the rest all average out to around some stretch out to like 15. I think I got one that even gets near 20, but I try to keep the chapters fairly short because, you know, when you're trying to get through a book and you got something you got to go do and you're trying to find a good, okay, this is a good point to put it down. A chapter break is usually the best.
I think the longest my chapters get are about 5,000 words. Any longer than that, and it feels like a stretch to me, or at least for the types of scenes I'm going for.
I misspell guards all the fucking time. I spell it Gaurds. Constantly have to fucking correct that.
RC Scott has joined us. How you doing, man? Gina says, then again, I've never written a book, so what the hell do I know? You know what? I hadn't either until I wrote one.
I still have no idea.
So I frankly, I know I've said it before. I don't know how I got that much done competently without like other people around who have done it before to talk to. It's just lots of videos and studying and hoping it works, and it actually kind of worked. So, but I think there was there was a little more luck than skill. I'm trying to actually get the like someone told me, look, you got the talent, it's just untrained. So, you know, I gotta keep doing it I keep practicing by doing it.
I think I've told this to quite a few different people on the Gilded server before, but I wasn't really competent in what I was writing at all until I had other people start to read through it and give their notes on what they liked and didn't like. It gave me a good idea on what I should focus on and what I should just kind of discard at the wayside.
If it wasn't for the people in the Gilded, there's no way in heck I would have finished the manuscript in the first draft.
And that's actually kind of true for the one I'm currently working on, because if it weren't for the Gilded, if it wasn't for the community, the first draft would not be anywhere near done yet. I'd be dragging my feet on that so bad. But now that I got other writers to talk to that are working on their projects, and let's face it, when we get something done ourselves, it encourages others to keep going because they're like, oh, wait, you got that done already? I'm not done with mine. I better get cracking. And by being around each other, we actually keep each other going from that. It does that for me anyway. How about you guys?
It certainly encourages me.
What was that, Maji?
I said it definitely felt like that.
And Gino said, do we have a topic or just working on personal stuff? Whatever. We're just whatever project we're working on.
I was poking around Ironage.
What's that?
I was poking around Ironage Media.
Yeah.
All his prompts.
I think it was only a few minutes before the stream started that I actually got my copy of Anvil magazine in the mail, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I was actually flipping through that a little bit earlier. There's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah.
The Anvil magazine's cool. Here, when I went on to look at the prompts, he already has the cover 2 designed.
Hey, thinking ahead.
So if you want to sneak a peek at cover 2, it's up.
Yeah. Where is this at? Ironage Media?
Yep. That's where I was. I was digging around, seeing if I liked any of the prompts. One of them kind of jumped out. I might tweak it some. After my day off.
Okay. And besides, we always like a good reason to put Ironage Media up on the screen. So I can figure out.
It should just be down, scroll down in the announcements. It should be right there. His new cover.
Yeah. I had that issue with the couldn't get back to that tab again. I really need to get a 2-screen set up.
No,
Rageaholic.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised whatsoever if Razor Fist actually gets onto Iron Age Knights with Royce and Richard and Daniel.
That
P.
would
Riley.
Be wild.
That
would be.
It is not
wild.
that much of a stretch.
Oh, I mean, they're all they all have connections already.
Yeah, if they're already talking with Richard with Iron Age Media and John A. Douglas, I'm like, it's only a matter of time at this point.
Yeah. 3 comics: Baphomet's Child, Corpse Fishers, Solar City. All sound like great places to go visit. Baphomet's one of the baddies in my current manuscript. Let's see what.
In most of the stories I've read, he's rarely good.
Yeah. Well, one of the good guys in mine is Ares. I always see Ares more often than not depicted as a villain. I want to do something different with him, and I think it suits him.
I always thought a lot of the classical or Greek tales, especially framed in a modern context where it places either Ares or Hades as the bad guy, it's usually done very poorly. I've noticed a lot of the time.
Because they don't even understand fucking the underworld in the first place. Most of Hollywood, they just usually do it as like generic hell, which is not.
Yeah.
Now, another funny thing is Hela or Hell is always presented as a villain. Yet in Norse mythology, there was nothing anywhere that showed her with any disdain.
Well, in Norse mythology, she's also the daughter
given
of
a big responsibility by Odin, which conveys trust. The daughter of
Hold up.
Hel is the daughter of Loki, not of Odin.
Yes,
that's Marvel stuff. But Odin gave Hel a job, and where was Helheim? Was it within Niflheim or Muspelheim? But that was a huge responsibility because Odin trusted her. And I do have her as a villain in this, but she started off. I don't go into her history, but her history in my lore is she wasn't always a villain. She was once trusted by the angels to help guide spirits who have just passed to the next realm. And she kind of betrayed them. She used to be a trusted hero.
Well, I've noticed that in a lot of epic poetry and a lot of stories that have adapted that well.
Please excuse me for one moment.
What the fuck did I do?
I have no clue.
I like zoomed out.
What
Damn.
did you do, Billy Bob Sack?
I don't know. My note zoomed out for no reason.
What
Okay.
software are you using?
A Microsoft Word, the one I pay for.
Oh,
I accidentally hit that. That's why. Zoomed out. There we go.
But no, actually, a lot of the Greek gods I mean, a lot of the pagan gods view hell as a totally different way than what modern people do.
well, it's a lot of classical poetry and a lot of really good adaptations of classical literature and plays. They treat the conflict, if the gods are involved, it's treated more as squabbles between 2 or 3 deities instead of one god's the evil god and the rest are good. That's usually not the case.
Well,
Yeah, they usually
put it like
pit
this.
against each other.
All the Greek gods and stuff would be put on a special list, shall we say.
Yeah, they're not very moral, to say the least.
The Norse gods, believe it or not, are actually more down to earth gods. than
No, you're
the Greek
right.
ones.
There's still some fucked up shit going on there, but it's not nearly to the same extent as with like Zeus, for example.
Oh, Zeus was bad.
Oh,
Zeus.
Zeus.
Zeus's mythology, man. He is a horny old guy.
Dude, take any movie of like Zeus. It's a Zeus story and his son, and just all splash them together, and it's always King said, "Fuck you, Zeus," and then he transforms into the king, and then goes bangs his wife,
More or
get her
less.
pregnant.
And then his wife is crazy, bat shit crazy because she always
No.
wants to take revenge on the humans for his betrayal.
Sorry
You
about
should
that.
look at the real story of Medusa.
Yeah. You're good. We're just talking how Greek gods are messed up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, one of the things Ares in my stories, modern day, he is a huge sports fan. He's all about competition, and competition he thinks enhances performance, makes people better. I mean, he's not just straight up bloodthirsty war. He loves a good fight, but he's not villainous at all.
You know what's
Then,
my favorite line from Hercules that I never understood as a kid?
What's that?
I've never seen so much love in a room till Narcissus discovered himself.
Because he's not a god. Why was he there?
Exactly.
I think he was there just
Best
for
part.
the joke. Yeah, I mean that is I love that line. I thought it was hilarious, but he's not a god. Why is he there? Maybe because he has enough love for himself that he
He ascended himself to godhood.
Am I the only one who really enjoys the older Clash of the Titans flick? The sort of Ray Harryhausen special effects. It feels like a
You
Conan
mean the
movie.
stop motion?
Yeah.
What it is?
I haven't
I like the
seen
movie. I
this since
still like it.
freaking high school reading.
You just have to remember it is a. I just looked up the title of fucking My Immortal Part 2.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Black Invincibility Coke. That's what I titled it.
Hey.
Oh, yeah,
You know
that
that
sounds
voice
right.
that voice James Esparza had read that short story on Weekly Wing in a few weeks back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one where he thought was King Bob.
Well, that
We
voice
should
was
have-
actually an
We
AI.
should have him make we should have him take that voice and have him read the author's notes from My Immortal.
Oh my.
I think Otter did just fine. He suffered enough.
I went through a lot for that. I hope you're entertained.
Yeah, dude.
Are you not
did most of
entertained?
you did most of the reading aloud in that, and I don't know how you handled it, but I was laughing. Especially those author's notes were the funniest. Stop Fleming, okay?
Oh, you haven't seen anything part 2? I think we're all breaking inside.
Stop
Oh no, there was no inside.
Fleming. I'm not written anymore until I get 5 good reviews.
I see into the flames.
Hi, Ebony. Hi, bitch.
King Bob, at least, or well, at least you know when you're editing, it won't be that bad.
No, I want to shit next to her.
Yeah, if you're ever feeling
But
down
it must
about
have
your
been a
own
teenager
writing
that wrote
skills,
that, right?
if you're ever feeling
Oh, it
down
has
about
to
your
be
own
like
writing
13
skills,
or 14-year-old who wrote that when it was doing it.
yeah, if you ever feel bad about your writing skills, just read a bit of My Immortal. That will perk you right up.
But here's the thing: I think it was intentionally written to be that bad.
Not at first. I sincerely believe it wasn't intended that way at first. After a
Yes.
certain point, yes.
Basically, once you start seeing her like writing stuff clearly come, like cum instead of come COME. That's
Well,
when she's like clearly understands that people are making fun of her, so she's doing it. But no, like I told Otter, I said about the first 10 chapters are about the most sane the story is, and that's where I believe like the actual seriousness of the story is at. After that,
by the time she's introducing Cornelius Fuck, I sincerely doubt that she was taking the story seriously at that point.
I'll be right back.
At least I hope not. I hope at some point there was some self-awareness that let's just go for parody.
No, at a certain point it is.
It was consistently like Cornelius Fuck. I'm like, that has to be intentional. There is just no way that's not intentional.
Or Rumbridge.
Yeah,
No,
Rumbridge.
Rumbridge was right. That character's that one's right.
No, it's not. Her name is Umbridge.
No, it's right.
No, it's not.
right.
No, it's not.
We need to be careful though, because we keep talking about stories like this. Billy Bob's going to challenge us all to purposely write a story so bad it's good, and that is the most difficult
Listen, I
thing in
already
the world to
gave
do on
y'all a
purpose.
challenge before.
Yeah, we were trapped in a
each
basement
month.
over it.
Each month, rewrite one chapter of My
Oh,
Immortal.
heck no,
Actually
I
make
am
it
not
fucking
revisiting that.
electric. 1 month. Every month we
I'd
just do
rather write the
one
worst
chapter.
story imaginable.
I'm not being starved again for 2 weeks just for your sick enjoyment, Billy Bob Sack.
Hold on, do you want us to transcribe the thing?
I want you to rewrite it, but actually make it readable.
Oh, fixing it.
I got an idea. How about you
Redraft
just
it.
read the real Harry Potter, and that's better.
I got a better idea, Maji. How about you stop being a pussy?
I'm a pony.
I got a better idea. Why don't you take the main character from My Immortal and write your own fan fiction?
Ew.
Yeah, Otter.
Just write her into your stories.
No.
Look,
Don't. That's not a challenge.
Otter,
I'm not
it could
challenging
be
anyone
this.
to that. That doesn't sound like
It could
I'm
be
not
Steel
opposed to
and
putting in
Stormbright
hot goth
and
girls
Ebony.
in my fiction, but not Ebony. No, Ebony
up.
can just stay right over
Otter.
there.
Otter. It'd be Steel and Stormbright and Ebony.
Ugh.
it works so well for the title too.
Okay,
It'd be like the
My
sequel.
Immortal broke my brain
Ugh.
so much when I actually said the ebony walls. I cringed because I used the word ebony.
Oh, Otter. Tell her full name. What's her full name? Tell us.
What is it? Ebony Darkness Dementia Ravenway.
Yes.
It sounds like a Family Guy pun.
All right, I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Oh, we'll wait for Billy Bob to come back before we start another session.
At this point, between seeing the characters that Billy Bob Sack and Stormcrow end up making and showing to me, and I'm just putting together their initials, it reads off something different. I'm doing that with Ebony and what is it? Edra? Something like that. That was a random thought, if ever there was one.
I like Stormcrow's idea, though. If I'm understanding it correctly, when he explained it the other day, to you're role playing pretty much the Ghostbusters types, but you're role playing them trying to start up their business. Not the Ghostbusters themselves, but that kind of organization trying to start. Is that what he's doing, or?
Well, the part of his pitch is that all of the characters are also ex-adult actors. So there's that element to it as well.
That way we can include Billy Bob in his audience.
I mean, it's certainly a fun idea. That's the thing. That's why I didn't shoot it down whenever he started messaging me about it. I went, this actually sounds like really like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think that dude has a lot of creative talent within him once he gets the rough edges chipped away.
He sent me some of his writing in the past, and I mean, there's a couple rough edges, but I really like what he has. I think there's a lot of energy to it.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
wanna
like
see
everybody's
him
writing has
cultivate
rough
that.
edges, though.
If I had a group like this back when I was in my 20s and first tried to get into writing, I may have stuck with it back then.
Yeah, right now I'm just considering myself lucky that this came along when it did. Kind of came along at the perfect time.
It really did. When that was a real rough time. That was the day I found this was like, I think it was the I found Royce's channel the day Sonnet went to the hospital and looked like she wasn't going to make it, and then the next day I saw it again for one of his live streams and went and joined his guild a week later. That was the first time I've ever super chatted anything, was his stream.
I think the only other person I've ever sent a super chat to was Razor Fist, and that was only a couple of times. Yeah, it's been kind of interesting for me. A lot of it just kind of started on getting on Twitter for the first time, and one thing led to another. It was more or less me talking with Rob Rhymes and Sybil whenever he went under a different pseudonym. But that kind of led to Royce's channel pretty much. I think he's gotten shout outs by several other people in the past, even at that point. That was around September of last year or something.
Yeah,
October. Yeah.
But the only other channels I've ever super chat, I think I super chatted John De La Rose a time or two, and one other channel. It's a smaller channel, but growing quickly. Is Swords and Starships. I love that channel. His streams are fun. When I hop into live streams over there on a Sunday afternoon, you get people like Star Fury and Fu Man Blue in the chat. They're pretty cool. So I hope to see Swords and Starships channel really blow up big. And he is a proponent of the Ironage as well. So there's that.
I need to check out his channel. I haven't really heard of it before.
Yeah, Captain Garrett. He's pretty cool.
Okay. I'll have to give it a watch. I've been seeing a little bit of where Timo had recommended Squishy Banana Productions, where he's in the middle of building a game he's been working on for years now. The game looks pretty impressive from what I've seen. There's a lot of
Banana Productions? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, he had just mentioned it a day or two ago to everyone in the guild. It looks really neat, though. I'm guessing he's building something in like Unreal 4, Unreal 5, but he's been doing it for about 5 to 8 hours at a time for 3 to 5 days a week, which is pretty insane.
Wow. Yeah. Kind of sets my mind on, I think it was a Dr. N64. He's the guy who made AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake. And he spent 10 years on that. I don't know what his trade was. I think sound engineer maybe. But he spent 10 years working on that bit by bit. It was a labor of love. He wanted to get, if you look at the original Metroid and then Zero Mission, he wanted to give Metroid 2 the Zero Mission treatment while giving it the Metroid Prime sound treatment.
Yeah.
And that game is actually a lot more beloved by some fans than the actual Nintendo remake, which that was a cool 2.5D, but this one, it was like really with the spirit of the and included lore that was mentioned in the original manual but left out of the game. He included that lore into the game, and he stayed faithful to the original map and really added in all the cool moves and stuff that have come since then. And it was a great thing. And what was weird is Nintendo, they must have known it was being made because he was broadcasting that he was doing it all right along. The day after he released it, Nintendo hit him with the cease and desist. But I sometimes think Nintendo is not being as big a dick as people looked at the time, because they waited till it was online before they shut it down. And once it was online, it was out there, and people can get it. And still, they waited till it could be released, and then they shut them down. But a lot of people think that Nintendo should go buy the rights to that for them, and then release a three component Metroid 2 trilogy type character. The original, Nintendo's remake, and AM2R, because it gets reviewed as if it's a mainline game quite a bit. It's that good.
I mean, that would be a good idea. The problem is that Nintendo isn't really doing a whole lot with Metroid. I mean, there were rumblings about Metroid Prime 4, but then it got scrapped, and then you're just hearing nothing about it, really.
I bought the Switch because of the Nintendo Prime 4 announcement. And then they announced that they had to scrap it and restart the project. Because I think the head Metroid guy, I'm blanking on his name. I've said it many times over the years. He said a rushed game is bad forever, but a delayed game can eventually be good.
Oh, you're talking about why am I?
Yeah,
Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh, that's bugging me. That Miyamoto, is it Miyamoto?
Yeah, Miyamoto was he's the one who's quoted for that. He isn't, to my knowledge, he isn't like the original writer or creator for Metroid, though. That was I think it was.
Yeah, I think he was involved heavily in the first Metroid. The second Metroid, he wasn't involved in that. That was happening on the Game Boy while he was working on Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
But then the original guy that he headed the project with, who started the whole Metroid thing himself, he had passed, and Miyamoto was his partner in that, and he's still continuing it to this day.
Okay.
And we just got Metroid Prime remastered. We're probably going to see Metroid Prime, a remastered version of Metroid Prime 2, although the rumors are it's not going to get the big boy remaster like Prime 1 did. It's going to be more like... it's going to be more just cleaned up a little and ported, where although Metroid Prime 1 did so well that they might be rethinking that and actually giving it a full dress up like the first, but we don't know yet. But we know 2 and 3 will be coming, and 4 it's been 4 since they gave the project back to Retro Studios to restart it. So, that's the original studio that did the Prime series. Granted, not all the original crew are there, but some of them are, and I think we're going to see something awesome, probably guessing next year for Metroid Prime 4. But we're bound to see 2 and 3 as ports at least before that happens.
If you look back into the story behind the original Metroid Prime, it's a wonder that game turned out as well as it did. That game had a rocky development cycle.
The whole Retro Studios in general was in pretty much shambles till Nintendo came and took over, but also gave them enough autonomy to... I mean, I guess they were making that game for something else, and Miyamoto said, can we make a Metroid game out of this? And that almost didn't happen over the Morph Ball. They couldn't figure out, how do you do first-person Morph Ball mode?
Yeah, they were talking about, it was the tech behind it. It took them a lot of time to figure out that seamless transition from first person to third person.
Yeah.
Whenever you'd go in and out. And they said that was on the cutting room floor for a long time.
And what they did with that tech in that game was just groundbreaking. I know first person shooters weren't new at that time, but they weren't as big a deal, and the standard twin stick control scheme was not standardized as of yet. It was on its way to be, but it wasn't quite there yet. In fact, I suck with that twin sticks design so bad. When I played the Metroid Prime Remastered, I had to go back to the original GameCube control style, or else I just end up stuck in a corner spinning. I'm like, what am I doing?
Strangely enough, my preferred control style for those games is the Wii and Nunchuck setup. Somehow that just feels really natural to me.
It does. But my favorite was in Metroid Prime 3 with the Nunchuck, when you use the grapple beam You
Yeah.
took the nunchuck and you whipped it forward, and the grapple beam came out on the screen. And then when you yanked back, you pull a shield out of your enemy's hands. That was so damn satisfying. I loved that.
It was a little unresponsive at times. That was my only gripe with it. Other than that, it was great.
Andrew Campbell says, big ups. And we got here, Sabito, what's this stream about? Sabito, I think you're a new name. What we're doing is we got together. We're working on our manuscripts. We would play some background music and work on our manuscripts through a 15-minute timer counted down, and then have some conversation in between. It was supposed to be conversation about writing, yet somehow I brought it back to Metroid again.
I mean, there's writing in it.
True. Oh, you want to talk about writers bickering over Metroid? Bring up Other M.
Oh God, that had the original project writer behind it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yoshio Sakamoto.
Yes, that's the name I was trying to think of. Not Miyamoto, Sakamoto. Yeah, and he stands by that but at the same time, when he said doing more Metroid story base, he's also said he might not be the best guy for the story end of things. But I appreciate what he was trying to do with that game. He had some great ideas. I think they were just executed poorly.
I agree.
But the biggest gripe, I think, was the PTSD scene for Samus.
Yeah, it made no sense.
I think it could have made a lot more sense if they just foreshadowed it with a simple. They would have had plenty of opportunity. She's close with Anthony, so just the two of them being aside, having a quick catch-up chat, a quick conversation between them, and he's like, "How you doing?" Especially since Zebes was destroyed, and she said, "Look, I've fought Ridley over and over again. He haunted my dreams. I thought it would never end, but now that he's really gone, it's like a weight has been lifted. I can finally sleep peacefully at night. I haven't felt that my entire life." Now, if they just put that in there, and then Ridley popped up, it would have made so much more sense.
Yeah, it would have worked a lot better. It just needed it needed some reworking or a bit of extra context. As it was, it just made no sense. There was nothing set up for her to act that way, really. If it was fully like childhood trauma, like she would have been long past that point. Like she's killed him several times.
But the idea was he was supposed to be truly dead after Super Metroid.
Right.
And I could see that, like, you think you've dealt with the trauma and then it comes back out of nowhere and hits you again unexpectedly. That does happen. So with just a little bit of setup, they could have smoothed that in there and not been a big deal. The one thing I just cannot stand out of the whole storyline was when Adam one-shotted her. One shot to the back and deactivated her entire power suit. No! They can't do that. That doesn't make any logical sense. But I mean, then again, I guess I can't gripe about that too much. I grew up watching Transformers.
I mean, either through the suit itself or just her being well seasoned from battle, you think she wouldn't immediately go down like that.
Yeah, well, also, it was, I believe, the lore raider went through Nintendo canon, all the mangas and everything that is canon to the story, and in that was laid out how her powers work, how powerful she can become, the multipliers she gets, how long they remain. He went through the entire series, adding them up according to the rules Nintendo laid out. She went universal at one point, got a 10 times multiplier again after that point, so that makes her multiversal. And by the time he was done calculating up all her multipliers, she was like some kind of quintillion universes levels of power. It's like, by Nintendo's definition of how her powers work, she should now be able to casually use beings like True Form Darkseid for toilet paper. This is crazy. That's why they say, like in Nintendo Prime, when you fight Ridley, that battle can last you 10, 15 minutes. But in reality, in continuity, it probably only lasts a couple seconds because they're moving at flash level speeds. And they're like, God levels of power is ridiculous. That's why I've called her the most overpowered woman in all of fiction. Andrew Campbell, I am redrafting my manuscript for book 2. Lord Otter, what were you working on?
I'm essentially done with my actual manuscript. I'm working on a glossary of terms, just to put in the back of the book. Probably along with maybe a note about the author.
All right, and Maji, you had just finished a manuscript, so you're not writing at the moment. However, she was hanging out, joining the conversation, and keeping the chat engaged while Otter and I were writing. And Billy Bobsack, are you back yet?
I've been back.
Oh, cool. What were you working on anything?
Working on my story right now.
All right. Well, how about we do another session while we're still here? Another 15
I've
minutes.
been doing it this entire time.
So that's why you've been so quiet.
No, I tried talking earlier.
Oh.
Fuck. I was fixing to say, didn't you hear that there's a rumor that Bethesda's remaking Oblivion?
I did not hear that.
I missed it. Watch me go back, look through the replay. I'm like, how did we all miss that? It's right there. I've done that a few times. I'm clipping up the weekly wing, and I'm like, how did I miss that? I was right there, and I didn't hear it.
I'm about done with Christian's part. Oh, God. Ew.
All right. Well, why don't we crank them tunes back up?
My brain hurts.
and
It says
give
take a
give
nap.
ourselves at least one more session to get some stuff done. What's that?
My face is tired.
Think about right there? Or a little louder?
That's perfect for me.
All right. Got the timer ready. 15 minutes starting now.
So, Nikolai, is that like underwater or diving or just a fanfic? Or not a fanfic, a nonfic?
Am I misspelling fucking loosing? Like you loose an arrow? That'd be
L-O-O-S-E.
Yeah, but I'm
L-O-O.
loosing.
So L-O-O-S-I-N-G, I believe.
Okay. Fuck you. Word. I spelled it correct.
So, like an Atlantean tale or something completely different?
Ah, shit. Actually, mother.
That's cool, Nikolai. Granted, you have a very unique way of putting characters together. I am not gonna lie. Was it you that ruined Otter's one shot again? Well, not ruined, I should say.
Ruined is the last thing I would say.
I know, that was the wrong word.
Luther, along with Foxy, Ricochet, and just about everyone else, fucking made that game. It was amazing.
Listen, we upset Otter because we didn't die a horrible death.
I don't know, Andrew. To be honest, if I do, it's probably only going to be like an Ironage prompt. I doubt the first 2 pages of freaking Shalar would ever qualify. That would be funny as hell if we could get Shalar, but no. Dead Man Sugar? What are you talking about? Sorry, I'll stop.
All right.
Oh, that was productive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was it really, or was it sarcasm? I honestly can't tell.
No, it's not sarcasm.
What he's calling you is a dick, Otter.
Oh yeah, well I am a dick, but I mean like
Yeah, I was gonna say
in this
nobody ever
case I'm
argued
being
that.
genuine.
I thought you bragged about it.
Yeah, I'm really bragging about this. I mean, between these two writing sessions, I've got about 2/3 of all of these terms done, and this is along with my actual manuscript. This is probably going to be the biggest appendix onto everything else. So I'm pretty happy with it so far.
Nice. How'd you do, Billy Bob? You're like, I just
I'm
can't
done
get
with
my
Christians.
momentum.
Fuck you, Christian. You can suck my dick, asshole.
You hear that, Christian?
I'll
That's
take
right.
that. I'll take that as good. All right. Looks like some stuff was happening in the chat while we were in session. Let's see. Where are we at? Gino says, I was staring at the screen and my brain melted. Wait, no, we've already been there. The underwater book, that was right at the beginning of the session. So Gino posted, I have two, but I'm not learning very well. I understand weird theories of quantum physics, but can't get this. So annoying. What theory are you wrestling with there, Gino?
He's working with coding.
Oh,
Coding is a lot like writing, but there can be a lot more
Yeah.
frustrations just depending on what you're working on.
I just consider coding to be learning another language.
In many ways, it is, and there's a lot of similar. There's a lot of similar theory to writing in it. Even not completely, of course, but there's similar muscles going on there. But there's other factors.
Well, you just got to
going
learn
on as
your
well.
audience. What does the computer understand?
And then there's
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. Nikolai Powell says fantasy book set in an undersea civilization. Andrew Campbell says interesting concept. Gino said, I believe losing is not a real word, or loosing is not a real word. I believe you're supposed to say letting loose an arrow. That could be. Whenever it's an arrow, I tend to say let fly.
Depending on where he is, he may actually be talking about my manuscript of all things.
It says, I don't know what you mean. I'm Fishian, completely second world. Do you think it is
I think
Fishian
that's
a name, or
fiction.
did he mean to say it's fiction?
I think he's saying it's fiction.
Saved it. Oh, we're talking about Dark Augment at the moment?
Possibly.
Yeah, because Nikolai Powell said saved it, and it's like he saved the day in that game. So that's where my mind went. Okay. Andrew Campbell posts, anyone having to go at submission for Anvil issue 3? Okay, yes, asks. Are any of you guys got anything going submitted for that? Or
No.
I do not. I may
Not
start
at the
doing that
moment.
when I'm done working on this book. I'll probably try and come up with something for submissions to Anvil or the Ironage prompts. I want to take some time and actually contribute to the Ironage in some way, not just publish another book, but contribute while I'm figuring out the outline for the rest of this series. So I figure that way, working with trying to do something to contribute to Ironage Media or Anvil or something would probably be good.
Yeah, that's mostly me as well. I'm just kind of focusing on getting this done, and then after that, it's been a while since I've submitted another Ironage short story. I'd love to send in another one. It's just time is always a factor.
Yeah, and as much as I'd love to say, I mean, it is to a point. Us coming on this channel and doing this is a help for the Ironage, but we are still a small channel, and for the most part, not entirely, but for the most part, we're just kind of preaching to the choir, But by doing this, a few people tangentially we catch their attention, and bit by bit, this could become more of a contribution to the movement.
I really didn't.
What's
I
that?
didn't realize it until after the session was over.
Yeah, that's
That could have been really bad.
that made it go so much more I guess you could say white knuckled than it would have been to begin with because of that misunderstanding.
I don't regret it. It made the whole little sequence more fun because even I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. He says, I tell you all about it over the rating session. After. Okay. Andrew says, I've been trying to outline a sci-fi story for submissions, but it's not really coming together. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you go to work on it and you got nothing there. And then all of a sudden you get so much that'll come to you, you don't know what to do with it all. Paul asks what it's about. He says, one idea was set in the aftermath of a mech battle in space, with two enemies drifting off parallel, and both come to terms with death. Oh, that would be interesting. If they're just both adrift, they're just outside of each other's reach and they're just stuck there drifting, nothing to stop. That would make for some interesting conversations. It's like, you're the only person I got to talk to until we die. My enemy? Great. Looks like we're going to have to settle this. Glad you guys are being productive. Kind of.
Kind
More
of,
so than I
sort of.
was before ever in my past.
I'm in
Andrew
slavery
Campbell.
right now to him.
Yeah. Oh, there was another mech style battle with a rookie getting his mech trapped under a rumble under rebel while the battle goes on above him. Oh, so you got like really solitude ideas for stories where, because I was setting my mind a little bit, maybe not in the setting, but the concept of, have you guys ever seen Gravity?
Yes.
The whole movie,
I
she
felt
was
it
pretty much
my
by
entire
herself.
life.
Yeah, but it's setting my mind on that, where it's like a lone person who looks like they're most likely not going to make it in their final struggles on their own solo. It's giving me that kind of idea. Gino says, I need to remember that you often come back to the chat later and structure my comments accordingly so they're clear. Well, when I ask, you can post it. It's if you have to go and you're not gonna be here.
Hold
then
up.
yeah,
This
you
is
might want to
weekly
give that
winging it
extra
right.
detail. What's that?
Listen, this is weekly winging it, writing it.
Are we gonna make this the weekly writing it?
Yeah.
If we can. I
Listen,
don't know how everyone's schedules are. I mean, I'm off on Wednesdays, but usually Wednesday's my busiest day because I'm spending the whole day cutting and trimming videos. But I took a break from making videos to come down here in this video.
Probably do it Sunday. Why not? If y'all are off on Sundays.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like Sundays, I can make it later for like the game sessions or whatever. But most of Sunday, I'm away from home till much later in the day. So my weekends are a little wonky.
Stop for lemon, okay?
Okay.
Don't be a
Okay.
prep.
But yeah, screw you, preppy.
Otter, I finally got past the Christian
Uh,
part.
Yeah, every time she's like, "Don't be a prep," or "You're being a prep." All I think of is Zach Morris.
Some preps
No,
stared at me.
who's up,
I put
prep?
up my middle finger at them.
Fuck you, Brittany.
Yeah, poor Brittany. What the hell did she do?
She just randomly made her really evil in just one part, but forgot to make her evil in the other parts. The other part, she was just a normal girl that she was just constantly saying "fuck you" and flipping her off.
Yeah, Brittany did basically nothing evil
Until like the end part. And it
until
wasn't
the
even
very
like
end.
evil.
Well, she had
But
a
anyway.
headache at that moment. All right, everybody acts different when they have a headache.
Yes. See, is that in character?
Is that in character?
Well,
Oh, you guys had way too much fun doing that.
Snape
Yeah,
said,
it's strange
pointing
how
up his womb.
it's strange how you had fun yet were utterly tortured at the same time.
oh
It's
no,
this
they
weird
had the
kind of
caramel.
masochistic sort of fun.
They have the caramel.
You guys want to go for one more session before we wrap up, or you want to call it after
I
a
think I'm
chat?
good.
I'm fine either way.
Alrighty. Well, we could start
Maji.
wrapping this up.
We're gonna have to
Yeah,
beat
let's
the
put Maji on the spot one more time before we wrap up. Maji! She's still muted.
Well, anyways, Otter.
Anyways. Well, are we doing plugs or what are we
Oh,
talking
absolutely.
about?
Let's plug something.
All right. Well, I've got a couple of plugs. If you want to check out my reviews or blogs or what the hell, I also have a few stories on Downstream Pulp. That's where I do a lot of my blogs and just opinion pieces. If you're also curious about what we do other than blogs, we are currently doing a live read of My Immortal on Heterochromedia's podcast channel. That's in the middle of coming out at the moment, and it is chaotic and strangely fun at the same time, even though we're kind of both torturing ourselves all the while. On top of that, there is a Cyberpunk one-shot game on my own channel that I'm in the middle of putting out one video at a time. It's a two-parter. First part is already out, and it pretty much has all of us here except Maji pretty much going through a cyberpunk, neon-lit cityscape, dealing with some nefarious ne'er-do-wells all along the way. That's me, though.
Watch our characters commit atrocities.
In the
Watch
name of
Luther
justice.
plant pipe bombs everywhere.
In the name of insanity.
When's part 2 supposed to come out?
Pretty soon, actually. I just need to get that cut and uploaded.
Well, stop flaming.
Stop flaming.
Kaplaw, 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 kaplaw. I ain't got nothing really. Maybe one day. Wrangler.
What? Did Maji come back?
No, she hadn't come back.
Yeah,
Now
I've been here.
dumbass pony.
I've been here. I just have nothing really intelligent to add to the conversation right now.
Go frequency. Post your butt.
Well, Maji, don't you have something you want to plug before we call it a night?
Yeah, check out ironage.media. If you feel like running something to get through anything, there's always that prompt up.
Nikolai, Foxy at the end was justified in her decision.
Oh,
Insanely
also,
brilliant and
check out,
brilliantly insane Luther.
Why not both?
check out Readout Productions, my Pedro Media, Pedro. Hi,
We already showed that. We already showed it.
my God. Check out Readout.
Show your butt. Show your butt. Show your butt. Show your butt.
All right. Check out Haley Star Bad Kitty. Sequel hopefully will be available October this year. But it's going to be more fun, more powers, more sci-fi and fantasy. It's going to be great. If you enjoyed this presentation, hit the like. And if you didn't, I appreciate you stopping by. We'll see you next time. And God bless.
Yeah.
Stop flaming, Kay.
Don't be a prep.
I am Kaplaw, destroyer of your enemies.
Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for showing up. Hopefully this was fun for you. Hopefully maybe you got some writing done as well. We will see you all next time. Have a great rest of the week and weekend, and see you Monday night on the Wing It. Thanks again for stopping by, and as always, God bless.
Jewish space lasers.
What?